Hello, and I hope you are doing so super well today, and you're about to do a whole lot better, because I'm about to solve the biggest problem you are having right now, currently. This is the most important issue going on in your life, I promise you. And this problem is what to do when you want to draw, but don't have references. And sure, you could use the internet, but that could lead to searching for hours and still not being satisfied. Or, of course, go to your trusty friend group and take pictures of them, except for the fact that you're social distancing. Or maybe they don't want to pose for you. Or maybe you don't have friends. But fear not, there is another way, and it involves video games. And not just any video games, one of my favorites, The Sims 4. So without any further ado, let me show you how using The Sims 4 can be the perfect guide to references and improve your art skills. Alright, so the first step to use your Sims as reference is to boot up the game with the Sims that you want to use and the scenery that you want them to be in. I'm just using the current apartment that my current household is living in, just for ease of this video. And the scene that I'm going to be going for is to draw just a cute little cozy romantic scene on the couch. So to do that, let's perform some romantic interactions to try to get a pose that'll look good. Now, of course, you can use a pose pack. I did do a little bit of research on them before making this video, but I decided for simplicity's sake, we'll just use what The Sims has to offer. But if you're interested in a specific type of pose, for sure look into pose packs. Alright, so that's looking pretty sweet, pretty cozy. But our Sims are looking a little flat, so let's see if we can mess with lighting to get them to look a bit more pronounced. Now in build mode, there is a light that is really similar to just a studio light, so I think that's the one that we're going to go for today. I know you can place here. There you go. Okay, and let's try another one right here. And I'm not being exact with my placement at all, just trying to get something quick set up. And much like real life, those lights cost a lot, so now we're super broke. Alright, so now our Sims are well lit, but there's still some more steps that we can take. So there is a light above them, so I'm going to mess with the dimness of it, just to make the studio lights do most of the work for us. Okay, and let's dim this one as well. Alright, so we have really cool tones in the background. Because this is a cozy scene I want to do, let's see if making these a different color will also help with the scene. Now, of course, this isn't the most important thing in the world. You can play with color and the dramatic shadows and all of that stuff with your shadows, but I'm just trying to set it up the best I can to get the best starting point to work with. Yeah, they're looking a little too orange now, so let's change that. Maybe just a nice warm light will do the trick. Alright, so I think that's looking better. Now another thing that we can do to get a better picture is to type in testing cheats, true, and then headline effects off, and that'll remove speech bubbles and the plumb bob from getting in the way of your picture. Now all we have to do is press tab, and that'll just bring us into this camera mode. And then to get our picture, we press C. And you'll get this little notification telling you that you have a picture. Also, make sure you have walls up for this as well. And I'm not super pleased with that angle, so I'm just going to zoom around somewhere else, making sure to not get that plant in the background clipping through their head. Okay. And obviously you can take as many pictures as you would like. I'm gonna go ahead and try out a couple different poses, and then when I'm done with that, we'll hop into Photoshop and I'll show you what I got. So I'm starting out by just doing a couple loose sketches from some of the pictures I took, and I chose this one to begin with because it's the one that shows the most of the scene, and I just wanted to establish mentally kind of the scale of things. As an artist, something that I struggle with the most, well, at least one of the higher struggles that I have on my list of many things, is putting characters into context, so backgrounds. And usually when it comes to backgrounds and when I'm looking at other traditional sources of references besides real life, because real life you kind of get the relationship between the objects, but if I'm piecing together a scene using like a dozen pictures online, it's hard for me to really feel what the scale of the scene is, and therefore things can look wonky or just not right, and it may look good, but part of you is just sitting looking at that image like, something seems off about that. And even in that first warm-up sketch I just did, the scale is still off, but I at least had some kind of guide to go off of to get me warmed up. This next image, you know, it was closer, definitely more in my comfort zone, and the one that I actually ended up going with to finalize, but just something I recommend if you're going to use The Sims as a reference, or just anything as a reference, is to take it back, kind of draw the whole scene, see if you can really understand the space, and then, you know, delve into the piece and see where you can take it from there. What I really enjoy about having The Sims as an option to use as references is that in Create a Sim, you can create like so many different body types, skin tones, and then with custom content, you can really find specific hairstyles and clothing that you're looking for to draw. And of course, I'm not discouraging coming up with these things in the drawing process and not relying solely on your reference for every little detail. You know, you have tons of room to explore. For these drawings, I did follow my references pretty exactly, but by all means, like, have your reference and then use it like you would any other reference. Build upon it, play with it, have fun, you know? It doesn't have to be just what you took the picture of. You can do so much more with it than that. The whole reason why I came up with this idea to use The Sims as a reference a couple years ago was because I was sketching out panels for a graphic novel I had / still have the idea for, just haven't gone much past the sketching phase. But anyways, I was worried about keeping backgrounds and characters consistent, because I think consistency with characters and scenery is something that's very difficult to do, much more difficult to master, and in a comic book setting, I don't know, I think it would be really weird if like a bedroom looked dramatically different panel to panel or angle to angle. So I thought about, you know, what if I just use The Sims, a game that I was playing all the time, to make my characters and also build the scenes, build the school it was taking place in, build the bedrooms. And honestly, it helped a lot. And after doing this video, I kind of want to hop back into that world and see if I can pick up my graphic novel again. But I don't know. But that's the whole reason why this was ever a thought in my head. So to be honest, I don't know if anyone's done a video like this before or has used The Sims in this way, but I think it's a really helpful tool. Now, if you don't have The Sims, any program that has kind of a three-dimensional scope to it that you can kind of play God in, any sandbox type thing, is gonna work in a similar way to set up scenes, look at backgrounds, make characters, and things like that. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know if you want to try this out yourself. So there's really nothing left to do besides go into The Sims, have a good time, take some pictures, and get cracking. You know, you can also watch to the end of this video if you want to, so maybe delay on booting up The Sims as we're speaking. It's kind of rude to leave mid-conversation, but if you wanna do it, I mean, go for it. I understand. You're like, wow, this is such a genius idea. How have I never thought of this? Wow, I want to do it. right now, I mean, if you're feeling that way, go for it. Go do it. Have fun. Because right now, I feel like we need a little bit of relaxation, a little bit more art in the world, and just a way to unwind and be creative. If you're still here and still want to chat, here's another fun tip for you if you don't already know it. A good way to kind of build space in a picture is to keep cooler tones in the background and warmer tones and more high definition detail in the foreground to kind of give the illusion of 3D. So fun stuff there. So our lighting in the game, not completely useless, because as you can see in my reference, it's super cool in the background and super warm in the foreground from those yellow spotlights I used. And towards the end of the video, I even take that whole background section and just lower the opacity on it to give that distance even more. So yeah, that's something you can try if you haven't already. It does make a big difference if you're trying to, show more distance within a flat space. Anyways guys, that's enough from me. I thank you so much for watching the video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, be sure to leave a comment down below to let me know. We can talk about it if you want. But thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good evening, just a good life, I don't know, a good hour, afternoon, all of the things. Just have a good one. But yeah, I think that adequately wraps it up, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for real. Final goodbye. Forever. Or until the next time I upload, so goodbye forever. Or for a month. I don't know. Hopefully a week. 2 weeks. We'll see. Anyways, thanks again. I'm gonna stop talking now.